So the entire Oculus Fulton Street Station hub has nothing but skate spots galore. I feel like this is one of those, like, for me personally, not just architecturally, but someone who skates and like loves action sports, it's a sensation overload, right? Like just about everything, you know. Perfect down rail, gap to rail, wall ride. Like, this is totally a John Julio spot. If he was interested in getting arrested and probably locked up for life. But yeah, I gotta use the restroom, so we'll get back to the spot check after I find some facilities. All right. So restroom break over, kink rails. I think the most amazing spot is really these curved rails that are at that are not necessarily at the Oculus, but part of this giant Fulton hub. And a little backstory: working with Brookfield, I think, and who were we working with? Oh, this is when I had to get SWAC security clearance, working with RDM, and I forget who the other partners were, but we were essentially in charge of, you know, creating the fire safety evacuation plans for this entire center, including the what's it called? It's called the Vehicle Screening Center. So the VSC, that included the path trains, and it was just a nightmare. I mean, a motherfucking nightmare of complicated drawings that we took, and then we had to overlay lots of details. But skate spots galore. Evacuation. This has state-of-the-art standpipe sprinkler systems, and just everything else about this is top of the line, including the entire World Trade Center site. So fire safety, first responders, you're in luck. In an emergency, if you're here, you're in luck. And if you just so happen to be here as a skater, BMX, biker, whatever, scooter kid, you're in luck. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this looks like 14 and 14 risers. What I was saying in the previous video around the corner is simply that the partners, I forgot who they were, but obviously it's Silverstein, right? So Silverstein is the main client because of the path train. And because of the path train, and because this giant center connects, it's known as the Fulton Street Hub, the Oculus. It combines a number of things. And I was saying the Vehicular Screening Center is a state-of-the-art facility where large trucks, buses, tourists, food deliveries for all of these businesses, you know, these restaurants and these shopping centers, when these giant trucks and buses and cargo vehicles pull in, imagine you're at the airport and you're going to a little screening center for your human body. There are screening centers with giant scales, like the stuff they weigh whales with, right? But it screens and scans giant trucks. So 18-wheelers and up, passenger buses included. On another side, so the partners were Silverstein and Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and that's where we had to get this very high level of security clearance. And though I was in charge of the department, I was not, and still am not, a citizen of the United States. So I chose to avoid putting my hands and fingers on these documents. I took the initial training course, and then I passed the buck to my second in command in the office, a gentleman by the name of Juan Garcia, so he could handle everything. And I only did that, number one, because he was great at everything. He's really a workhorse, you know. When you the true definition of like a workhorse, like can get shit done, he was that guy. And though he was fresh out of school, freshly learning English from the Dominican Republic, you know, he was a citizen, but he just had his shit together and wasn't afraid to do the dirty work, unlike so many other people that have worked for me or under me over the last 2 decades. So I applaud him for taking on this massive project. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still working on it to this day, because it's a project that is done in phases, right? So there may still be construction going on, there may still be changes going on. As far as we know, as the ordinary, bystander or ordinary person that's not involved in the decision-making process, we're just sort of tourists and we're just passerbyers. But there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that still may not be completed. There may be areas on the drawings that might be not properly documented. So I just remember this being a nightmare. And on another note, as I'm scouting, I'm thinking about when would be the best time to skate, if ever there was. And I've been in this facility over the last couple of years, usually at night or in the very early morning. And I've determined as being here right now that the best time to do anything would be during the busiest daytime hours, possibly even on the weekend, maybe during the height of rush hour, where, like right now it's rush hour, but look, I've got a period of 10, 20 seconds, maybe a minute between someone walking near this particular stair. Maybe at this kink rail, there's no one there for 10 minutes at a time. Or maybe, obviously things are on cameras everywhere. And obviously you have security personnel, whether they're cleaning staff, whether they're security. Someone's going to alert authorities if they see something they're not okay with. But if you come here and you come here with, let's say, 2, 3 people in a team, let's say one's at the top of the stair, one's where I'm standing on this corner lookout, and the other person is skating, that's a 3-man team. You can easily get your trick and your clip, and both lookout people should also have cameras and film. So I don't see why this kink rail can't be done without a hassle or without getting arrested. So, and I think one other last thing that I really haven't scouted properly are the ledges. The beautiful, pristine ledges. And then maybe I'll walk back over to show you guys the Fulton Street curve rails, which are down on that side. But the ledges and the construction, OMG. So yeah, towards the entrance of the path train, there are some down rails and down ledges that to me are just fantabulous. Like, I would compare them, honestly, I would compare the spots in here to like Guggenheim on steroids, to the Guggenheim Museum on 5th Avenue on steroids. Let's check out this Fulton hub and get to the crack. And let's walk down these stairs, matter of fact. This is like a little nice rail here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. All right. Not too bad, not too shabby. And I think this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about here. This pristine material. This reminds me of the Bercy ledges, IMYTA Bercy ledges. Like, the material obviously is smoother, but just imagine, like, I'm just picturing like the Brian Shima-esque moment where he's like sliding across the whole top, right? So if you look at that side, like across the top, right? And then down. Not really sure what it looks like out here, but so there's that. Then there's this right here, right in the middle. Like, could you imagine this one? It's a little wobbly right now.
What about that? You want to slide the rail? Yeah, I guess we just want to.
But yeah, all right, let's check out the Fulton hub. Let's check out the Fulton hub. quite a long walk down this tunnel here. I really do feel like inline skating or wheeled shoes or something to that effect should be legalized. Sort of to the effect of like having an emotional support animal, you know? Like, I mean, if that kid, if you can have strollers and things like that, it's like, who's to say the stroller doesn't get out of hand and crash and hit someone? In my opinion, it's like, why can't I have the same sort of rights and access to whatchamacallit, you know, to roll? Those rails with the dick, a little dangerous, but still very possible. All right. Try to show you guys these curved rails.
Oh, God. 10.
So there's all of this stuff. I actually crashed my drone one time trying to get a shot going up here, but those rails right there are the curved rails I'm talking about. Let me see if I can get the elevator or escalator up. All right, had a little wardrobe malfunction there with all of this shit around my neck and weight and chest knot or whatnot. But here's just, for example, you know, right. So looking at the glass structure itself, it's a double pane tempered glass, which means that it won't shatter when it breaks, which is a safety feature, obviously. But it's a huge, giant guardrail. I look at this rail and the first thing I think of is, what do I think of when I think of this rail? I think of like a hardcore Brazil. I think of Carlos Pianowski. I think of Demetrius George as well. I think of Chris Farmer, Jeff Howard. But I really think of, I think of myself because this is something I would love to do. I just haven't really gotten the balls and the nerve up there. But this would be, you're gapping 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gapping almost 4 steps to what looks like the most massive down rail you might ever encounter indoors. All right, so there's that. And this is the rail here. That's the rail at the top that comes down and around. And just look at the details when I get up close on it, right? Look at the details here. All right, this is my hand. This is the height, right? This is what it looks like from the bottom of this side. Now we'll take a walk down just so you can see just how intense it actually is. And you don't have to hit the outside one, but that's the goal. You can hit the inside rail. Look, there's a good 6.5 inches from glass to this rail. You come around it, right? So you come down, you come around. Sorry. Right? beautiful. All right. This one's a little weird. You'd have to jump off a little early, but magnifique. Oh, on that magnifique note, this is what this one looks like from the bottom. And then this is what this one looks like. Oh, well, you have a left and a right side. And then if you were brave enough to try this one, yikes. And then there's another, so you've got a left-sided drop rail here. You've got a right-sided drop rail, then another left, and then another right. And this is a kink set. That's kink, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you've got 1 and 2 as far as options for that giant curve jammy. I need the A-train, and I don't know where to go exactly. This might be the best bet. You've also got these, I would say these are steep, kink rail, double set. You've got a left side and a right side. I wouldn't recommend skating this. It just looks awkward, but you know, these double rails like this have never been my cup of tea, but this could work regardless. If I had to, though, I would love this more than, instead of this, I would love this. Not this, this. Not this, 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 not this. Just so you guys understand. And this lens, it's pretty dirty. Where the fuck am I going? I don't even fucking know where I'm going. Still looks like the old Fulton Street A-train station. Everything above renovated.